Muathe, Muathe.com. Let's take a look at short-term trading. I know some of you have an interest in it, and this is pretty much for those who trade the smaller time frames. We can even call this some form of day trading. Now, this is intraday trading. What we're going to do here is keep it simple, and what we have in front of us is the Swiss Titans 30 index. It can be any index that you're trading, any stock, any currency pairs, any commodity instrument. It really doesn't matter. The instrument is really respective of the market. The behavior should be similar, if not identical. What we're going to do here is try and find some of these highs and lows in some of these areas to see whether we can see anything on the chart here using the RSI only to identify some of these key turn points. All right, so the first thing I see here is if I draw a line right there, I see a break of this trend. That's a warning break. What I'm going to do is just extend this line. And what this line does actually give me is there's an attempt to move above the line there, but it is rejected with uniform action, which gives us that high, and you get a chance to see this drop here. Now we can also say that there was an attempt to capture and move back above the line here, which fails. The reason why I bring that up is at that failure point, you'll notice that it corresponds with this intraday high, and the index has not been back to those levels since then, and it drops. All right, so we can also see that this was close enough to rejection, which coincides with that high. All right, now we can go take a look at our uniformity method. And if you're not familiar with the uniformity method, do take a look at the link. There should be a link in the description of the video that discusses this in more detail. But what we see here is once we break below this level here, which is this warning high, we take that information and draw our uniformity resistance line, which should be something like that. Now you can see that that becomes very relevant because every time we tag that level with uniform action, we have a swing trade lower. And then we come and tag it again here, which is that high, and also close to it here, which is that high there. And here we have a double top rejection, which ultimately gave us this short-term high. All right. Now if I draw a line connecting this RSI top and this top here and here, so let me take that off, I get a nice straight line that becomes relevant recently. Should be something like that. And you can see that once the line is established, we come and hit that line there and we stall, which is a movement there for a swing trade lower. And then we have another situation where we come and hit the same line, which is the highs here for the recent hour-to-hour pullback. We can also see here at that particular point that is uniform activity above 50 and back below it, which also coincides with that high. Even this is uniform activity rejection when trying to move above 50, and which also corresponds with that high. Both of them were successful in predicting lower price levels. Now we can also take a look at the exact opposite. Now keep in mind the trend here seems to be down, and let me show you why. Because on the monthly, so we can kind of understand why it's been pulling back, is on the monthly we always have to account for the big picture so we can understand what trend is more likely to continue. And on the long-term monthly chart, you can see that this is where it stalled about 3 months ago, and since then it's been net down over the last 3 months. So the downtrend can be seen here on this monthly chart. And so go back to that hourly chart, you can see that if you take the lows of the RSI here, here, and here, you get a nice straight line, something like that. So even though it's been giving good support on these levels, they haven't been the strongest bounce situations. Why? Because the big picture, as we just established, big picture is down. So any type of rally here recently, even though we see short-term support here, so support right there of this recent low, even though they are holding the line, we can see that so far they haven't generated a mega move. We can anticipate a nice move if and when at some point for a short-term spike, if and when it clears the RSI top line we had drawn previously. So if it can go on to clear this line, then we can expect there to be a little bit of a stronger move to the upside. Right now, because the big picture is down on the monthly charts, we are looking for levels where we want to add to short positions, or maybe even initiate short-term intraday levels where we can take advantage of any continued trend lower. Eric Muathe, Muathe.com. As always, good luck, peace, and blessings. ExitStrategy. By the way, before I sign out here, I want to point out, so let me go back to that monthly chart. I think it's a big deal. So because we had already, this was a well telegraphed resistance line if you've been following my work. So let me go back to this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the same line again. Now, since we had already seen this line becoming a backtest failure line, this line which was the break here of the highs of 2015, once we come close and we show resistance on this line, also happens to be rejection at 69.1 on the monthly chart. Now take a look at the hourly, which means that all the signals that we had looked at previously at the beginning of the video, all these sell lines, for example this line here, which was the uniformity break line, since the big picture was already bearish, then you can see how these levels here were good actionable areas to add on to short positions, or maybe even initiate sell positions, because the monthly chart was already rolling over. So if you combine the big picture and the smaller time frames, you can really see how some of this understanding where to look for turn points makes a lot of sense. So the big picture was bearish. You drill into the smaller time frames and you get a sense of where to set some of your entry levels on the short side. Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. As always, good luck, peace, and blessings. ExitStrategy.